What's up? It's another episode of Watch Your Strappin, and these are not watch reviews. They're just quick wristwatch check of the day with strap of choice on a watch that I have on, and I'll generally show a new watch on its OEM strap or strap options first, and then I'll go aftermarket after that. So today, this is a pretty recent delivery. You've seen my channel, you've seen that. So I did an unboxing of this, and this is the Vertex M100A. I think this is a relatively new model, maybe came out roughly 5 months ago, I think. It's an automatic version of the Vertex M100 model. Previously, they've basically all been manually wound, and additionally, I believe they were also, let's say, limited in who they'd sell these watches to. I believe you basically had to have a military background or service to be able to purchase one before, and or otherwise maybe someone could potentially sponsor you and or give you basically some sort of endorsement or something to be able to buy one. But now it seems to be open to the public, which is great, because I have been waiting to get one of these for a long time. It kind of bummed me out that couldn't get one. Out of all the, I've been looking for a Dirty Dozen style watch, and they all come in different variations. Within the 12 makers, they all have some little differences, and what's available now from some big brands. There's not actually a lot of big brands, or would say, let's say big as in like Swiss brands that make these. This and Timor, I believe, are the only two original the Dirty Dozen manufacturers that still actually make a Dirty Dozen style watch. They actually have that heritage. IWC, sure, they're around, but they don't really make that anymore. And neither does who else would there be? I think Longines. Pretty sure JLC. And so a bunch of others. They don't quite make a Dirty Dozen style watch, like with the small seconds and all that. Basically Vertex and Timor, and there's of course a bunch of micro brands that do, and they do a pretty decent job, but none of them, for the most part, they try to stay pretty true to the original size, around 36, maybe 37 millimeters or so, which would be fine if you're looking for a more one-to-one or as close to it as possible recreation, reissue, whatever you want to call it, of a Dirty Dozen watch, which I found that I really wasn't looking for. I like the style, but I went through all of them, and although there's some great prices for some of them, especially from the micro brand space, you get some from AliExpress and stuff. I think is it Baltony or something like that. There's some that they make them for pretty cheap, and but they all look about the same, rather generic, as some Fliegers are. The Type A and Type B dials. They just look a certain way, and if that's what you want, that's fine. And I didn't want something that looked just like, more or less like another one, and either that or they're not executed in a way that I really like. But always, Vertex has always stood out to me as being one of the brands that looked the best to me. It's probably the most expensive of them, at over $2,000, but I couldn't settle for something that I knew I wasn't gonna be happy with. This just has the right proportions and look to me. I just like the way they did the dial, particularly the Arabic numerals. I don't think anybody else does them in this 3D manner, and they glow really excuse me, they glow really well as a result. It's just a basic 3D chunk of lume. I don't even think like the stuff that Tudor has put out recently is as thick as a level as this. It's got definitely some height to them, three-dimensionality to them, a bit above some other ones I've seen out there. But that's one thing. The size of them, the overall placement and fitment of all the elements, it just looks good really good and right to me. And so that's what I went with. And I get there's other watches that you can get that could do similarly, but believe me, I've looked, and I don't know. I was not inspired to pick up anything else. So eventually I had to go with this since it was finally available to get. And it's been performing great. It's got a Salida based movement. I don't have it memorized yet. Salida 270 something, I think 274. I forget. I'll get that straightened out by the time I do a review of this, or maybe the next time I do a watch a Strappin, or hopefully I have that ingrained in my head. It's not a common, I would say, Salida movement, because most of them that you see in most of the watches I think we buy are not, they don't really have the small seconds. But this has been holding time really, really good, like barely a second of deviation, if even that. But anyways, I'm not trying to make this into a review, but I just wanted, I always try to share a couple of thoughts besides just talking about strap options. And it's on the included admiralty gray NATO-style strap. It's I would say this material is what some would consider a seatbelt style, so it's rather kind of soft, definitely smooth, and it's got that kind of sheen to it as well. I think it looks pretty good on this watch. I think it could look good on some other types of admiralty gray NATO style straps, and definitely some two-piece. This came with a black leather strap, which I'll probably try on next, and a Bond style, you know, with the gray and black stripes, which will work. But I've got plenty of those, so I don't know if I'm going to even bother showing that one off, because I'll probably pair something with it. Maybe use the one that came with this watch, or maybe have one that I've already worn, and may actually be possibly better quality. But we'll see when I get to that. But that's it today. Here it is on my just about 7-inch wrist. Yeah, I think this is a really cool looking field watch, and I am pretty picky about the field watches. I generally actually shy away from them. Most of them are just too simple and plain and basic for me, and I know that's how most field watches, especially military style, are supposed to be like. But I need something different and just a little bit more flair, and I believe Vertex offers that. And it just doesn't, I don't know, just the way they do it, it's just unlike any of the other ones. And I like the details here too. Besides, of course, the numerals, nice, good, clean printing. Look at the center stack, or right in the middle where the hands are. They actually, not everybody does this, but you can see here they actually capped it right in the center of the post, where it's usually left open, and you cut kind of a hole or divot because of the way that the stem is, right? And even the small seconds, I don't know if I can focus in on that enough. Let me just reduce the brightness. You can see that even has a cap on it too, which is pretty amazing, because that's even smaller. And I was from a distance, I couldn't tell, and I was thinking, it probably doesn't have a cap on it, it's just on the hour and minute hand. But nope, actually they did it actually on the small seconds, and that's a nice attention to detail. And so there's a lot of things going here with those hands. They're nicely polished, but then they have a nice point. They reach all the way out where they should, just about. Same with the seconds hands. It just fills out that sub dial really nicely. And I don't know, I just think it's a pretty darn good looking field watch, and in the Dirty Dozen style. And I'm glad that it didn't go with a traditional, like, more one-to-one reissue of Dirty Dozen watch. Those could be cool, but I don't know. I just found them a bit too dainty and just a tiny bit plain. I just wanted something a little bit more updated, and this perfectly looks like something that, if they had continued actually making one to this day, I guess they technically have. I mean, this is just a modern evolution of a Dirty Dozen watch in a 40 mil, but it's not oversized. I think it proportionately it looks and wears pretty good, and it should on most wrists too. And I mean, this could also be a great. It's not quite in the same league, but in terms of some sort of classic modern field watch, such as say like a Rolex Explorer, this would be a nice alternative to that without going to those spending that much thousands on something, and you get a good quality watch. You could get this on a bracelet too, which I thought about, but I don't know. It has male end links, so given the way this is sitting, I have to see it on the two-piece. I just worried that maybe that it may extend the lug to lug just a bit more than I'd want. It may not sit or rather wrap around my wrist quite as well on that bracelet. And it's not cheap too. It's like $300 something, I think, somewhere around there, at least 300 something pounds, I think is what I saw it listed at. And it's kind of pricey, and it's just a basic oyster style bracelet, and I don't particularly care for the clasp on that bracelet either. It's kind of, it's one of those ones that you see on some micro brands, and even Strapco makes a version. Basically that's where I saw it from actually, but it's like a long kind of clasp. It's very clean, but it's got that kind of diver extension, the ratcheting ones that you know, you can push and extend out, but I don't like that because all the ratcheting mechanism is external, so all the extension is, you'll just see a break in the bracelet, and it extends way more than you need to. It's really for a diver's extension, like over a wetsuit. And if you're doing that, you're just going for a tool and just making it functional. Yeah, that works, but as for a daily piece that you're gonna wear and sport around, I think that's overkill in terms of the length extension, and additionally it just doesn't look that good with the extension. You just get that break in the between the bracelet and the clasp. As you can imagine, if you know the style I'm talking about, it's a somewhat common one, and then those edges near that where it separates, it can be a bit sharp, I would say. You won't cut yourself, but it doesn't feel, I imagine from what I remember, it does not feel necessarily pleasant. It's just, it's unnecessarily sharp and exposed edges when nothing's extended, and as such, I'd probably never use it. If I did, I'd only barely get one click or two at most out of it, just a little extra little breathing space if and when necessary, but for the most part I'd probably never use it anyways. And potentially that clasp size might be a little bit wide or long for this scale of watch also. So I don't know, I'll think about that. I don't know if I really want to do it. And besides, this type of watch looks best on pass-through NATO-style strap, maybe a Marine Nationale, like an elastic one, you know, something like that, some sort of pass-through, or a two-piece. They do offer, from what I hear, a pretty nice FKM rubber strap. It has a military broad arrow on it. It's Vertex, though it's not cheap either. I think it's maybe close to $100 or something too. I'll see. I mean, I can get something similar without all that branding for much less, and I think it'll probably be just as comfortable and usable, but I don't know, maybe I might still want to keep it within the Vertex branding. We'll see how important that I feel that will be for me down the line, but for now, this is what I've got it on. Yeah, I rambled on a bit, but that's what I do, especially with new watch, and something that I'm personally excited about and enjoying, and hope that comes through. So thanks for watching, and check you out next time.